Surajit Khanna. Dr. Khanna will take you on a journey helping you plot a path for success to reach your own summit. He is also an attorney, a child safety advocate, a servant to the underserved, as well as the champion of returningyouth.com. I would like to introduce my co-host, Nicole McIsaac, who will be sharing more information at the end of the discussion. This week's theme was Start Today, Not Tomorrow. Day 1, Dr. Khanna talked about understanding your future. Day 2 focused on finding motivation, and Day 3 concentrated on setting realistic goals. Today is a review of all episodes for this week. And during today's workshop, we will have an open discussion. Dr. Khanna will give his perspective. We are thrilled to have Madison, Kayleen, and Gary joining us here today. Let's welcome Dr. Khanna.
Good afternoon, Valley. Thank you for hosting this wonderful Inspire. And thank you, my dear co-host, Nicole. And thanks all the participants today, starting from Gary, Kayleen, and Madison. So could you take 30 seconds each of participants to introduce yourself, where you guys are from, what you're doing. I'll start with Madison. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Madison Vetter. I go to college for social work at CSI in Twin Falls. I live in Montana currently, so I'm going to college online.
Nice. Thank you very much. Next, Kayleen.
Hi, my name is Kayleen. I am a sophomore double major in journalism and political science at Quinnipiac University in Connecticut, which is like 20 minutes out from Hamden. And I'm also a sprinter and jumper on the women's track and field team at Quinnipiac.
Nice, nice. I would like to see you with a political science background in Washington, D.C. or Capitol very soon then.
Oh, Kayleen, I didn't know you were a track star. I also did track in high school.
I think track star is a little generous.
Yeah.
Gary, could you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Gary Scarano. I am the PR director for Dr. Surajit Khanna and his initiative, the Post-Incarceration Juvenile Justice Reformation Act Initiative, which is a tongue twister, but we call it returningyouth.com, where we are returning young adults out of prison back into a successful life. And we've launched New Jersey, and we're looking to launch New York and other locations also. So please visit us at returningyouth.com. And I'm not a track star.
Gary, thank you very much. You did a wonderful, advertisement here. Thank you very much. And don't forget, just like Kayleen said, she's in the tracker, she runs. Gary is also a runner. Okay, he runs almost how many miles a week you run?
Not many now. A few years ago, I don't know if you ever heard of ultra running. I did do a 31-mile race and a 50-mile race and a 62-mile race just a few years ago. Wow. But I've slowed down quite a bit.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining our workshop today. So it looks like we're having a lot of fun because the title of this week was Start Today, Not Tomorrow. So since we have a couple of folks here, so the way we do it, we're going to talk about all the 3 episodes, what we covered, and then we will kind of go over each of you and start seeing, how we can engage you today so that the audience can learn that how this Start Today and Tomorrow would mean to you and then to them as well. So Nicole, you want to start the workshop with the presentation?
Yes, of course. Give me 1 second.
So since it is all about start today and start not tomorrow, that really fits with 2021. So 2021 kind of takes us there because we just started the new year. We didn't start yesterday, but we just started the new year. So all about start today is like, in the first episode, we covered that you got to understand your future. You got to understand what you are going to look, what you want to be, Because if you don't know what you want to be, and then you don't know what you need to be. So there's a big difference we covered about want and need. A lot of times, the other day we were talking that I want to be a lawyer. Me being a lawyer, so I'm telling that, giving that example. I want to be a lawyer. Do I really need to be a lawyer? No, but I want to be a lawyer. But in order to be a lawyer, I need to finish up my high school. I need to finish up my college. Then I need to sit for LSAT. Then I have to go for law school. And then I have to sit for the bar exam. And then we go to sit for, then we can practice. Then we get the license and we practice. So those are the need. So do you see the need versus want? That's what we covered in the first day. Okay. And then in the second episode, on the second day, we covered about finding motivation. That looks like when I was a little boy. Looks like that cartoon looks like me, right? Without a mustache, where he has a, well, no, this mouth and a tie. So that's how I used to be. But you see, today I grew up. That means what? You need to find motivation. Motivation is the toughest thing to have. Self-motivation, I mean. Because if you don't have the urge of changing, you need to have the urge to change. Then you cannot do it. You got to have self-motivation. There will be challenges. Because without challenge, life has no meaning. You got to have challenge. Just like Kelleen said, she has a double major. Actually, Kelleen, you remind me, when in my undergrad, I had a double major too. Not many kids or not many people at that during my time used to have double major. It's too much work. Isn't that a challenge? Of course, that's a challenge to having a double major. And plus, she goes for track. I used to do I didn't go for track. I didn't have a track, but I used to work. I used to do other things, but it still is a challenge. But if you don't feel confidence in yourself, if you don't have that urge to go to the right path and succeed, then you can never achieve the goal. So finding the goal and picture the end goal, where you want to be. Just like I told Kelleen that, hey, I would like to see you in a couple of years in the Capitol or in the White House. Well, because she is having one of the major is a political science that leads there. But that cannot happen if I don't goal that, if I don't reason that, I cannot do that. Madison wants to be a social worker. Well, where do I want to see her? I would like to see her that she is doing something for community. She's trying to do something for bringing some change in the society. So that's the end goal. That's what will make you happy. Envision how happy you feel will definitely get you to the end. And the third, but the next episode we saw about getting realistic goals. You got to be realistic. You just can't say, you know what, I want to be the president of the United States. Well, yes, if you want to be a president of the United States, what you need to do? So you got to set up realistic goals. And that is important. Setting up realistic goals, using a planner, using a track to track the progress is important. What we covered during that third episode is you micro list all the items you want to do, not just the highlight item. Not just say that, okay, I want to go to college. Well, what do you need to do in order to go to college? All the task items. So if you write down all the task items, what happens? Then you go and see how much you achieved. Let's say we take weekly, we covered this, that we weekly monitoring the task. So 1 week you went to that, then you what you need to do, you need to celebrate that mini victories. Celebrating the mini victories is very important. So this is what we covered. So in this workshop, before we start the workshop, I would like Nicole, I gave you a video. Could you kind of play that video, and so that we can share to the audience and the participants?
So this is basically just a video that shows the time lapse of how a house is built, and it ties in perfectly with setting realistic goals and starting today and not tomorrow. And it just shows that these people got up and they started and they were able to complete a humongous goal that ultimately allowed them to build the huge house in the end.
Let's see the end.
Well, I guess the music isn't playing, I guess.
That's fine. Look at the end. Look at the start, look at the end. And the reason I wanted to give this start our workshop with this video is that in order to have this, that's the goal. The goal is to have a nice house like that. And it started from where? From dirt. And then you got to take the steps. Okay, so very first person I would like to pick up in this particular workshop would be, who is very close to me, not that far where I am today, is New Jersey. I'll call you Rose. Nobody calls you Rose with the middle name. So in this workshop, you'll be addressed as Rose. Is that okay, Colleen?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, great. I like that. So what do you think about this theme, start today, not tomorrow? How do you relate to your goal in your life? Well, let's come down. Life is too broad. Let's come down to the career. Your career and this theme, start today and not tomorrow. How do you relate that?
Well, I think it's important to establish small goals every day, as Nicole was discussing, as we've been discussing. But I think that really starts with realizing the potential that you currently have and how you can kind of build as a person, become better as a person to get bigger goals. So currently, I know that I'm very interested in audio production. That's what I'm pursuing at school in terms of journalism. But I also understand that I'm not as skilled perhaps as grad students because I'm only in my second year of school. So I know that I have a lot more work to do, and I have a lot more classes to take before I can be as accomplished or as skilled as I'd like to be. So I have aspirations of working at NPR, for instance, but I know that I really just have to get through my classes first now and work towards internships and work towards bettering my hard skill set so I can get somewhere that's far more ambitious in my future.
So in order to achieve your goal in journalism, so you have taken some mini steps, right? Do you think when you achieve those mini steps, when you complete those mini steps, do you feel that you are pretty much confident to go to the next step?
Yeah, I do. I think it's really important to recognize the work that you've completed so far and how that allows you to move forward. So knowing that I've completed small goals that allow me to, take further steps, that really just kind of builds up my repertoire and allows me to become more prepared for the future. So just taking those small steps really proffers a lot of confidence
Do you ever think
personally.
of celebrating when you finish those small goals?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When you turn in a big assignment on a Friday night and then you can finally relax, you can hang out with your friends or maybe get some food or something and really just enjoy the free time that you have. I know that that's something I do when I finish a big project because it's good. If you grind so much and you complete a lot of work and things that are challenging, you have to set up little small rewards along the way to keep you on the right track.
Excellent. And you did bring the point challenging. So let's say from step, you start a mini goal. You are going to achieve, let's say, weekly goal. And in order to have those mini goals, you do face challenges. How do you overcome those challenges? Because during challenges, I'm sure you face demotivated during the challenges sometimes. What makes you go back to be motivated and complete those challenges or overcome those challenges?
I think it's important not to view challenges. I mean, some things are very individualized, but I think that anything can be made into something that you can ask help for. I don't think people should consider themselves always alone. So I know that when I'm having an issue, perhaps I'm having trouble editing something in Adobe Audition, which is the program we use to edit audio at school, I know that I can ask my professor or someone who's more experienced than I am for help to help troubleshoot that issue. So I know that even though I would prefer to be independent and solve problems myself, I know that sometimes I need other people's help so I'm able to solve them on my own in the future. So always being able to ask for help, and then also, making a plan for myself so I know what I have to do, because, if I make these small steps, as soon as I can check off what I need to do, I know that's a little small victory for me. That's something that I can be proud of myself for, and I can move on to bigger steps that maybe are more time consuming, but knowing that I have some work done is really important for my motivation.
Excellent. These are some of the points are very important when you are doing those steps and overcoming the challenges. I really like that point. Hold that point. I'll switch. I think we lost Madison because of technical difficulties, but I'm going to go to Valley. Valley, do you feel any challenges in order to meet your small steps in order to achieve the big goals?
Yeah, I mean, I face a lot of daily challenges, especially with my own personal health or like health problems. So I definitely have to keep like a log and have little goals to do throughout the day, because if I don't, nothing will get done. I'll just let my health take over and just not do anything. So I definitely have to keep myself motivated by making lists and whatnot.
Who keeps you motivated? Self-motivation, or do you have good people, surrounded with good people, those who motivate you? Well, I know you, me, Nicole, Gary, we all motivate you, but we are not there with you every time. So what happens? Who keeps you motivated?
Well, I mean, I try to motivate myself because at the end of the day, it's me who has to do the work. But also, I have my little boy looking up to me every day. So he's like the biggest motivator, I would say.
Nice,
So, yeah.
nice. Nicole, how would you echo what Valley just said in order to overcome your challenges?
Yeah, so I think I totally agree with her, but I think personally in my situation, and it was kind of addressed earlier, was just kind of keeping your eyes on that prize. And, like Kayleen said earlier as well, always reaching out for help and trying to stay motivated by not only doing that, but surrounding yourself by other people who have goals that they're motivated towards, whether it's the same or completely different. I think incorporating a strong support system, like we mentioned in previous episodes, incorporating that support system that is filled with people who are just as driven as you are is almost inspiring in a sense. And it kind of helps keep you on that track of motivating and starting today and not tomorrow.
Excellent. This is a very excellent point. I think, Nicole, I'm going to give you a task now to write some notes, which we will be going over in the conclusion, that putting up these small goals, achieving the big goal, that's one thing, and then challenges. Like Colleen said, Valley said, we all face challenges in order to achieve those, even if it is a small goal, small step, we feel challenges. And when we are feeling challenges, what happens? We get demotivated. So overcoming the challenge is very much important. And picking up the right tools to overcome the challenges are also very important. So keep that in mind, that overcoming the challenges, using the right tools are important. I'll go to Gary. I know, Gary, one of your goal is to walk or run from wherever you are, let's say Manhattan, from Manhattan to Los Angeles. Okay. So in order to run that, if that is your goal, what kind of challenges would you feel, and how would you overcome those challenges?
Actually, you mentioned something very funny. I think about 2 or 3 years ago, the world record, which was held for like 30 years, running between San Francisco and New York, 3,500 miles, was broken by someone. I just don't remember his name, but I got up early one day, drove all the way out to Dover, New Jersey, and I ran 3 miles with him. It was 3 miles, not 3,000. But the goal of running is basically, it's simple. If you have a goal, when I was younger, I wanted to break 3 hours. And you basically have to be very dedicated. Not a very large percentage of people can break 3 hours on the marathon. And you have to do speed work. You have to adjust your diet. You have to do rest. It's very complicated. And I was one of the few people that was able to do better than I ever thought I was going to do. I actually did a faster time than I thought. So running is just something you have to invest time in. But it's like so many other things. It's like when I was done and I surpassed my goal, I didn't regret one run that I did. I didn't say, gee, I wish I didn't run that day. Or if I remember on a diet, I never say, and I reached my goal, I never say, gee, I wish I could have ate pizza one day that I skipped. No, once I reached the goal and I went through all the pain of whatever the goal is, I don't know anyone who looks back and say, well, I reached my goal, but I'm sorry I got here.
No, that's a very good point. I think, Nicole, if you can take a note on that when you are achieving the goal, when you are overcoming the challenges, it is good to look for the positive side of it. Okay, don't go and say like what Gary just said. Let's go to that. I'm not telling Nicole to play the video, but let's think about the video which we saw. It was a dirt, but there was a goal of somebody to build that house at the end. That's the goal. But they start with the land. When the dirt is there, and then the architect comes, the designs and all these things. Let's say it take 3 months or 6 months to build that house. But you got to start. You can't just think and sit down and say, you know what, I need a house. I need a house. I want to build a house. I want to build a house. What is the first step in order to have that beautiful picture which we saw at the end of the house? Very first step is to acquire the land. And in order to acquire the land, what needs to be done? I'm going to go back to Colleen. For getting a land, what steps or mini goals or mini tasks we have to do in order to achieve that goal? And that goal is we got to buy or get a land. Could you chip in, Colleen?
I'm sorry, I think your audio cut out, or mine did, just for a moment. You say land?
Yeah, in order to get that land, in order to acquire that land, what steps do we have to do?
I think there's a lot of saving that goes into doing that, but I think the preliminary step should be really just finding what area or what kind of region is best for you. So I think there's a lot of research that has to be done before you make any big steps.
Exactly. So first of all, you need to understand where you want to be located. Where is the tag? There are many things that you have to understand in order to get that land. And once, let's say you got the land. Wow, I got the land now. I made a deposit, I got the land. So you celebrate that particular achievement, that success. I'm sure a lot of challenges went in order to get the land. But when you got the land, just like Gary said, when you got the land, you forgot everything, what happened in the back in order to get the land. But once you got the land, you go there, you celebrate it.
Dr. Khanna, we have about 7 minutes left of the live workshop, and I just kind of wanted to share what I've been writing down of all of our overall discussion. So, we talk about starting today and not tomorrow. This whole discussion has been definitely very informative. So what we kind of came up with, to sum everything up, is someone who's filled with these challenges and, is facing that lack of motivation, they can overcome that and start today by having the right set of tools. So that could be looking at the positive side of accomplishing goals and celebrating your mini victories, or, surrounding yourself with that support system who's just as motivated as you, believing in yourself. Everything just ties into hand in hand with everything that we've discussed this week in each episode of starting today and not tomorrow. But is there anything else you would like to add just before we wrap everything up and close?
No, that's a very good point, that what we pick up from this workshop is picking up the right tools. Because if we don't pick up the right tools, just like how Colleen said, before we get the land, we need to know which area you want to be, where you want to be. Okay, so picking up the right tools in order to overcome the challenge is one of the key items. And there are many avenues to pick up the right tools. You can go to Sears, you can go to Home Depot, you can go to Lowe's and pick up the tools. But what tools we are talking about here is not those hardware tools. The tools are that you got to remain self-motivated. You got to remain with the association of good people and right people who will keep on motivating you to achieve that goal. There will be challenges, but you need to overcome the goal. But everything, just like the theme of this week was start today. You got to start today. Last but not the least, the analogy I would like to give is, if I'm hungry now, which is almost 1:30, I haven't had my lunch yet, because Nicole is my dietitian. She never told me what to eat. So I'm hungry. Am I going to wait for tomorrow to satisfy my hunger? My dietitian, what is your answer to that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so what should I do? Colleen, what should I do?
You should get something to eat.
Okay. Valley, what should I eat?
She's very direct.
Whatever you want.
Well, Gary, could you advise me what should I eat?
Well, you have to make a decision that you want to eat what's best for you. And, if you have a certain goal in mind, you just can't eat anything. If you're a vegetarian, that's fine, if that's your decision. If you're on a keto diet like Nicole, that's fine. But you have to determine what you want to eat and what's best for you.
Thank you. Exactly. Do you see, guys, where I'm getting into and how am I wrapping this whole session from start today, not tomorrow? Because we have not seen tomorrow. We don't know what will be tomorrow, but we know what is today. So let us enjoy today. And that is the biggest achievement, because once we know that I started today, 6 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, whatever time we started today. And at the end, whenever I end, all I need to do is, wow, I achieved all these things today. So we can take a mini steps, because nobody has seen tomorrow. And thank you very much, Valley, Nicole, Colleen, Gary, for joining this wonderful workshop, because I want all of you to take something back. Not my food. I'm not giving my food. Okay. But because I got my food after a long time, because my dietitian failed, Gary just gave me exactly what to eat, but still I have to go to the restaurant and get the food, and then I'm going to eat. Again, thank you very much, Nicole. You can close it.
Thank you, Dr. Khanna, for this very informative live workshop of Season 3, Inspire Your Best Life. I'm Nicole McIsaac, and we thank you for tuning into today's discussion and hearing about the importance behind starting today and not tomorrow. We hope you were able to take something away from today's workshop and just are a little closer to finding your own personal summit. In addition, we'd love to thank our 3 guest speakers for today, Kayleen, Madison, and Gary. Stay tuned for next week's season that will focus on the topic of breaking free from self-doubt. Also, please make sure to visit Dr. Khanna's website, returningyouth.com, to hear more about the most recent initiative that's been launched for post-incarcerated young adults. You can also view the past training videos for Inspire Your Best Life at inspireyourbestlife.com. In addition, please don't hesitate to reach out for any questions, concerns, or comments at contactk.com. Thank you, have a great day, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you.